Let's now bring in Rami Khouri, Distinguished Public Policy Fellow at the American University of Beirut. He joins me live now from Doha. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. So let's start off with, why Israel wants to expand its assault now by putting hundreds of boots on the ground. What do you think their end game is here?
I don't think they're completely sure what the end game is, but they know that one of the principles of the whole history of modern Israel and the Zionist movement going back a century is to try to get as many Palestinians out of Palestine as possible through war, through occupation, through putting tremendous life stress on them to the point now where they're starving people, including babies. And they've always done that. They're doing it now at a much more dramatic and dynamic level, and they don't care for any of the international security precautions that the world has built up with international humanitarian law, human rights law, rules of war, and things like that. They do whatever they want to basically strengthen their hold on all of Palestine, not just the part they have from 1948 and the occupied Golan Heights, which they've said they annexed. Very few people recognize that. So they're just using violence more ferociously to frighten and intimidate and push the Palestinians out if they can. They don't know where they're going to go. They don't know who will take them. They don't have a long-term strategic plan other to assert their superiority in the entire ancient land of Palestine, historic Palestine. And the U.S. And some other countries seem to support them in this.
Is this not a sign that Israel's 18-month long campaign hasn't offered any relief to Palestinians or Israelis for that matter, because we've been hearing from many of these reservists that are being called now to be sent to Gaza protest this campaign and calling for the end of this war, calling for a ceasefire to be enacted?
This is one of the fascinating things that's happening now, which is that most Israelis, all Israelis in one way or another, are feeling the pain, are suffering from this conflict. Some of them have died, some of them have immigrated, some of them have been injured, some of them have had their businesses closed, some tens of thousands have had to evacuate, some had their homes destroyed. There's many, many ways in which all Israelis suffer from the war. Without the war aims, as Netanyahu articulated them, without those war aims being achieved. But that doesn't seem to bother the Netanyahu government, which is committed fully to carrying out what seems to be not only a perpetual war against the Palestinians, but now is expanding into Yemen and into Syria and Lebanon, has been for months and months, but it's getting more serious now, especially with the missile strike against Ben Gurion Airport today.
Right.
So there has to be a peaceful political resolution of this conflict. There is no military solution.
You mentioned that strike near Ben Gurion Airport. The Houthis have managed to hit Tel Aviv despite the Iron Dome and the THAAD system that they have there. Will this prompt the U.S. to take more tough positions against Yemen?
Probably in the way that the U.S. does, which is just to shoot more missiles and attack more sites and make life more miserable for civilians and military units alike in Yemen without achieving any success, in the same way that Israel has done. And Israel and the U.S. have done this for, half a century almost now with their immense military power. Nobody in the world has the same military power that Israel and the U.S. combined have. But this hasn't stopped the Palestinians from resisting, it hasn't stopped Lebanese from resisting, it hasn't stopped the Yemenis, and hasn't blocked the missiles from their foes reaching into the heart of Israel. Hezbollah missiles were doing that, and a couple of Iranian ones got in, and now this Yemeni one got in. So again, the lesson here is that military superiority is no guarantee of success in your political aims. The political aims of Israel being ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians and expanding the settler state of Israel. So the world seems not to care enough to put an end to this. The world, especially the U.S., easily could stop this Israeli policy, but they don't do so, which we can only interpret as meaning that the U.S. and England and others are okay with what Israel is doing. They'd like a few less babies starved to death, but they seem to be okay with what Israel is doing broadly for reasons that they will have to explain and history will have to explain.
Rami Khouri, thank you so much for joining us there live from Doha. I appreciate it.